This podcast is brought to you by the Podtower, hosted by the Watchtower database. Visit youtube.com/thepodtower for informative, hilarious DC animation-themed podcasts and live streams every week. And check out the Watchtower database for DCAU video essays, timelines, fan theories, and more. And please, enjoy the show.
For me is nothing because I'm counting no age.
No, you shouldn't be scared.
No, I'm good at
the
shit. Under each snare. Intangible. But you didn't think so I command you to. Panoramic view. Look, I'll make it all manageable. Pick and choose, sit and lose all your different crews. Chicks and dudes who you think is really kicking tunes. Picture you getting down in a prison too. Like you with the views. You think it's fictional, mystical, maybe spiritual. Hero using you to clear your view when you're too crazy. Life was just a definition for what life is. Priceless to you because I put you on the heights. If you like it, God, so it's righteous with one tone. Psychic among those possess you with one blow.
That's how we're starting this one.
I don't know about, yeah, whatever.
I'm copyright. Claim on this.
The essence, the basics without
Just do that loop until we come up with something.
Yes.
Every time. Hello.
We are the Chaos Brothers.
Good people. The Chaos Brothers.
And we went to bed after 2 and we got up. I heard you starting at 8.
Yeah, well, my brain woke me up like 5 minutes before my alarm, and I had told you the night before, like, I apologize for whatever the alarm is. I've never set an alarm on this new phone.
Yeah.
And then it was this weird little twinkly baby nursery rhyme sounding bullshit, and you just were like complaining from the other room or something. What the fuck is that? That's the stupidest alarm I've ever heard.
I'm offended by your alarm.
Welcome to episode 98 of Jump on the Bat-Wagon. That's a lot of episodes. Just imagining this sitting here for the first one and thinking like, oh, 98. Now,
where were you 98 episodes
listener
ago?
can check me on this, and because
I'm gonna check you on
I might
this.
be wrong, but
so I'm gonna check your butt.
Today we're doing a 2-part episode as one episode, and we've done that one other time. No, we did Last Son of Krypton, and it's already fucked up. So I was thinking we did Shadow of the Bat, 1 through 2, and now we're doing another 1 through 2, which. If that's all it was, that would mean that today is our 100th episode that we're watching, but not the 100th episode of the podcast. But we've already watched 100 episodes of the DCAU. It's already happened.
Actually,
what?
If you want to go back on this, like the lost episode is kind of not technically an episode.
Mask of the Phantasm, yeah.
So we're like 99.
We're so far into it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, like those both count. Those both rewind the number a little bit. I don't know. I'm James. We're around 100 somewhere. The Watchtower Database YouTube channel. I'm here to show my good buddy Brian.
And I'm Brian. I'm around 100.
Yeah, this is Brian's. He's 100 years somewhere in there.
I have a cursed micro SD card, it turns out.
Yeah, I had to go buy a new one from Walgreens. Also, we're just kind of like working on faith that this one's correct. It hasn't given us any sign that it wouldn't be.
We'll check it at the break.
Look, listener, we have a special guest today. I won't say who it is quite yet, but you obviously know because it's in the title and everything I posted about this episode.
At the end of last week's episode.
But we put in the SD card from the rest of the episodes this weekend, and because we're just doing a bunch at once, and saw that there was only like an hour and 40 minutes left, and we're like, that's not enough time for this person to talk. They like to talk in a good way. We like to hear them, listen to what they're saying. So I went to clear off Brian's SD card, and it was just giving us all of the problems.
I've never...
It wouldn't format. It wouldn't delete anything.
Yeah, I like painstakingly went through. I'm like, okay, we're going to take everything off of this card. It was like my old like cell phone card. Yeah. And it was like, okay, delete everything. Cool. Put it in the recording board.
The recording
thing.
board.
That. And it was like, you don't have as much time as you should. We're like, that's weird. And
why is it so full?
Yeah, and I like put it back in. I'm like, oh, it must not have deleted properly. I'll do it again. Same problem. Well, you know what? I'm just going to format the thing.
I was watching a Nerd Sync video for like half an hour while Brian's just sitting over there squinting and going, what the fuck? Under his breath.
And it just like, I just kept like trying to format it in different ways. And it was just like, cool, perfectly formatted. Give it to James. Nah.
Nope. I don't know what this is. So yeah, I woke up early enough to go to Walgreens and buy a new 128 gigabyte card for this. So now it says 17 hours plus, like as if it can. It's like, I don't know, man. There's just so much room. So I think that's at least enough for Dan Riba to talk to us today.
Who?
Well, actually, we have two cool things happening in this podcast, and one of them we still forgot to grab out of the fridge. Doing it now. While you do that, I'll say that I'm here to show my good buddy Brian the entire DC animated universe from start to finish for the very first time in the controversial airdate order, so that he may view these shows the way human beings experienced them in the far gone days of the 1900s. We recommend that you watch today's DCAU episodes before listening to this podcast to get the full experience out of our discussion. I can't make you do that, but I can make Brian do that. At the time of this recording, Superman, it's 9:53 a.m. Superman the Animated Series is streaming on Max and available on DVD and Blu-ray. Today we're watching Blasts from the Past Parts 1 through 2. And guess what, listener? There's two types.
Yeah.
We got a Canadian delivery here. It's a good old handful of little mini jugs of Yop.
They sound like this. Maybe don't do that in the podcast.
That's what good Yop sounds like. Yeah, we got some actual Yop. Yoplait yogurt drink from Canada. It's a dream come true. We were much more excited about it before, but it's 9:53 a.m. I have strawberry, banana,
and strawberry.
And just strawberry. This is the beginning of TAS Season 2. Part 1. Please don't do this. Part 1 aired Monday, September 8th, 1997. So we're already skipping the last quarter of 1997.
Nice. So we're going to have like a 3-episode long season.
No, it actually goes for a little while. At 4:30 p.m. on the WB. And part 2 aired the next day, Tuesday, September 9th, 1997, 4:30 p.m. on the WB. We skipped a little under 7 months.
Wow. What do you think about that DVD and Blu-ray? Look at how cute and fuzzy she is.
I see. It's so weird. DVDs and Blu-rays wouldn't have fuzz normally, you would think. Part 1 aired number 14 and produced number 14. Part 2 aired number 15 and produced number 17. 2 episodes in between.
Don't love that.
Like the main man. Don't know why. This was written by Robert Goodman, who previously wrote Feeding Time. Directed by Dan Riba. Previously directed 10 episodes of TAS, as well as Lesac Parts 1 and 3, and The Main Man Parts 1 through 2.
I'm never going to get over that.
Lesac.
No, the fact that Dan Riba wants to talk to us.
Oh, yeah. Music is by Christopher Carter, Part 1, and Michael McQuistion, Part 2. Christopher Carter previously composed Lock Up and Catwalk, as well as Fun and Games, A Little Piece of Home, and Tools of the Trade. And Michael McQuistion previously composed 11 episodes of TAS, as well as Lesac Part 2, Feeding Time, Stolen Memories, and Two's a Crowd. And this is animation by Coco/Dong Yang, who previously animated 43 episodes of TAS, as well as Lesac, Feeding Time, Stolen Memories, Main Man Parts 1 through 2, and Tools of the Trade.
Stealing McGorry's.
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
I feel like it's going to live on because I just love saying it.
Stealing McGorry's. It sounds like an old spaghetti western or something. Starring Clint Eastwood. The Adventure of a Lifetime. Stealing McGorry's.
We need.
It's not Steel Magnolias. How did we not do that?
That's a good question. We need a listener to pick up a Stealing McGorry's story, like Earl the Animated Series kind of thing.
Yeah. On the next episode of Stealing McGorry's, Brainiac, it's still Brainiac, still sitting in a pile of dirt in the middle of the desert where his ship crashed, just going, man, almost got him. All right, we're going to go watch the episodes. Oh, we're gonna drink the Yop because
this is the hardest thing to remember to do.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's been 4 or 5 episodes.
I brought it to Brian. Here's a clip of me bringing it to Brian. He was more excited.
No fucking way.
Yeah, baby.
Straight out of Canada?
Straight out of Canada.
Holy fucking shit.
I was secretly recording in my pocket when I showed it to you.
What?
It's way better than us just going, yay, we have it. Hooray. We're drinking Yop.
But they're so percussive.
Lobo Boy Fanboy 420 bought us our Yop.
Hell yeah.
He says these bevs are for Max and Rose.
Aww.
It says two Yoppie bevs.
We got to give them to Max
We
and
do
Rose.
have 2 each. 2 little Yops. We should do a taste test before we do push-ups for this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So which one are you doing?
I'm gonna start with strawberry banana because I'm less excited about it.
Less excited?
That's not my
one
go-to.
I'm more excited about.
You going with strawberry?
When I said that these expired 2 days ago, that was also 2 days ago. And then also my strawberry banana cab says it expired October 4th.
Yeah, I got that too.
Oh, it smells good. It smells like yogurt. Why is this only available not in my country?
It just smells like yogurt.
Liquidy yogurt, yeah. Yep. Whoa, involuntary. It's yogurt.
It's yogurt.
It's yogurt. It's
like
got a little bit of a tang, a little bit of an expired tang to it.
I don't taste that.
Straight from Canada.
I think that's just bacterial cultures.
Probably. It's changing my language.
You know what? If you were like, hey, Bri, try this yogurt. It's strawberry.
Mm-hmm.
Just strawberry. Yeah. I'd be like, yep, it's strawberry.
Oh, you can't taste the banana. I only drank the strawberry just now.
I'm going to try the strawberry in a bit.
Anyway, there's 2 of them, so we got to do 10 push-ups.
Okay.
With Yops.
Yop.
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 Full transparency, I
You lost. Yes, you yop to count. That's the end of the intro. We're going to go watch the episode now.
Episodes.
Right now.
Professor! Mala, I tried to stop her. She took the projector.
Welcome to Earth, my darling. Believe me, you're going to love it here.
Dan, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, everything's all right, just plugging away,
Yeah.
I just sent off my first batch of commissions to the CGC, so I can't show you any of the covers that I did. Because,
Well, you can. They're not going to be online. You can show us, and we'll just go, ooh, wow.
No, I mean, I sent them on Friday.
Oh, physically.
So
Oh, got
I
it.
don't have them. They're not in the building. I would actually, pull them in and go, hey, look what I drew.
Oh, we know. That's my favorite part of chatting with you. It's like, oh, what special thing will I get to see this time?
It's been cool to watch your progress through Inktober. Oh my god.
Oh no, that last page tour. I have to archive this before it keeps. Hey, look at my no. It's like the time machine and just going through all the old books and just like now they're dust. Oh well.
Whatever scrolls Ra's al Ghul finds in the tomb, he's just picking up and they're falling to bits. Yeah.
I get that reference.
You do. Yeah, oh my God, Brian's all the way through Batman. He's seen all of Batman the animated series. It's crazy.
Including the lost episode, air quotes.
The Sega game, yeah.
That's fun though, right? I mean, it's really goofy, but it's the lost episode has got a lot of cool stuff in it.
You know what? I had a weird affinity for the I think what at the time I said was like the compression. Like I know that it had to have been compressed so much, but it was like it became extra comic booky in this really minimalist way.
Exactly.
I liked that look.
I only beef with that whole thing was just the music. I just hated the fact that the music was video game music and not like, just like a Casio and just it's like you're so used to like these lush scores, and we weren't getting that from that, In
this batch of episodes we've been watching this weekend, there's been a lot of TMS, and growing in my experience in the DCAU, and having seen obviously like a lot more anime than I had DC at the start of this whole thing. It's been cool now to kind of pick up those anime elements that are kind of woven into it.
It's like things kind of like mesh together.
Yeah, and I never picked it out like individually, but now I'm at that point where I'm like actively like kind of watching for it. It's like, oh, that is straight up anime. That's so cool.
Yeah, I know. And now we get to this episode.
Well, that's a good segue. Dan, will you listen to this little ditty that someone whipped up for us? Cooney Phoenix is the user for whenever Brian gives his synopsis for the episode.
Synop, if you're wondering, synop, what you just watched. Synop, take a listen to the synopsis. The short and summary, which is sometimes kind of long.
It's so nice.
We have
it's really nice. Yeah, it's like it's so like you should also like give the weather also while you're doing this.
It's sunny and balmy today.
It's time for the traffic report.
Well, since you're here with us, and we always make the guest give us the synopsis, would you mind telling us what happened in Blasts from the Past parts 1 through 2?
Can I remember?
Give us your best shot. Whatever
you can give us as abbreviated as you want, like, because the official one is going to be literally two sentences. Like, give us whatever you want.
Oh, okay. And this isn't like there's some guy that does these things and he gives himself 60 seconds to do this.
No, it's however long you want.
Like, however long, but I'm going to try to, be
before the Joker bomb goes off. Is that the guy you're talking about?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Nice gimmick. I don't always agree with his opinions, but people always disagree. People always like what they like.
I don't always agree with Brian's opinions.
Yeah. But, but I always agree with yours.
I was just going to say, whatever Dan said is right.
Anyway, let's get going with the synopsis.
Yeah.
It begins with Star Labs, if I recall. Professor Hamilton is trying to open up a cabinet in the spaceship that Superman came in. And he's got like a big, like super big screwdriver.
Super screwdriver. Yeah.
And he's like, and Superman.
I also found this in the ship, Superman. Is it a big screwdriver?
And Superman's just like, let me do that. No, let me do it.
Yeah, we were talking about like, why don't you just open it, Superman?
We've all been there. It's the pickle jar conundrum.
No, I got this.
I know. It's exactly it. It's the pickle jar conundrum, because otherwise Superman would have just, why wouldn't he? Oh, I'm sorry.
I want that to be the subtitle for this episode.
Yeah.
What? The pickle jar conundrum.
But then he opens it up and they discover something in there. And it's the Phantom Zone projector. They start playing with dials, and open up. They look inside and they see all sorts of weird stuff. And they open it up, and the creature comes out. It takes off flying, and Superman has to chase it. It causes some havoc, construction sites or whatever. Some guys working on the power lines or something. Yeah. And it causes all sorts of havoc. Superman manages to bring it back, makes Hamilton turn the dial backwards.
we really loved the like subvert expectations gag of like, oh, there's the hole in the ceiling, and then he just crashes through a second hole in the ceiling right next to it.
That was done on purpose. We could easily have made it go through the same hole, and we're like, no, that has to be another hole. That's the. And so then they examine further, realize that they go back to the fortress of Solitude, and then the Brainiac kind of tells Superman like what the deal is with the Phantom Zone and who these people are in there, because they heard Mala going, "Hey, let me out! My sentence is up."
I'm not a bad person, she said, and they're like, "Sounds good to me."
So Superman goes to Hamilton and goes, you know what? We got to let her out. We got to do what's right. Her sentence is up. And then they do. They let her out. Superman inexplicably trains her. To fight.
Brainiac showed me that she was a Nazi, and I think she's been in jail long enough, so I should show her how she has heat vision.
I forgot that part. Thank you. Yeah, she'd been part of a coup to take over Krypton, and some sort of space Nazi. Clearly, that was what we were going for. It was like all that sort of triumph of the will kind of imagery we were going for. And so, with their literal big fists.
Yes.
They're planning to rule with those big giant gloves and those big fists. She mistakenly thinks that they're an item, being that they're the last of their kind. And Lois, they go out to stop a bank robbery, and she's under the impression somehow that Superman is ruling the planet because he can. And that she'll just, she's his second in command, like she was with Jaxar. Superman has to set things straight, and so she sets up an interview with Lois to sort of calm things down, to make people not freak out about her, which doesn't go well. When she realizes that Superman is not interested in her romantically. Because Lois goes there.
I do like that he takes her with him. And she's trying to play off, like she just overheard them be like, we're going to put her back there if she's too bad. And she's real pissed off about that. But then she's playing like, no, everything's totally fine. I realized I was wrong. And then as soon as Lois is like, so you guys are a thing? And he's like, no. And she's like, wait a second. Fuck all of this. I'm actually mad again. Just can't hold it back.
She is volatile.
Yes.
And I think maybe a little insane, but that's the other thing that we didn't, I think that was part of the equation. They didn't really sentence her properly on Krypton. So she flies off the handle when she finds out that Superman and also, yes, because they were planning on putting her back when things would go south, which is like, duh, he teaches her to use heat vision and everything. Huh? Let's see. There's a big fight. Yeah. She steals the Phantom Zone projector, releases Jaxar. And
to be continued.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. I'm trying to think the second part now.
How did it exactly start? I don't remember.
It started with a recap.
Oh, it sure did.
Yeah.
Oh, they're walking down the street like normal people, just going, people are here.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
It was a weird and strange daylight scene of Jaxar just walking around and mailman and stuff. I like that they walk past a bunch of people that have basically no reaction. And then the bike guy, hey, get the hell out of my way. Right after that, he turns around. Wait, that was Mala. She was from the TV. And then everyone recognizes them immediately.
That really is odd. That's the thing I'm talking about. It's like, you think that they would have seen her on TV and they'd know who this other Kryptonian is walking around. And, they'd give her some space. But this idea that bike messenger recognizes her after, and like, okay.
I never saw her from behind on TV. How was I supposed to
know? That's a thing. Superman gets prepared, goes there with the anti-kryptonite suit and with kryptonite to take them both down. They have a fight. They get the best of Superman, zap him into the Phantom Zone and the kryptonite. And then destroy the Phantom Zone projector. Superman and Hamilton had earlier, however, tried to build their own, missing a certain crystal, but they were still able to. I guess the crystal helps them hone the focus it. But
it's Napoleon Dynamite. Wait, I got to put the crystals in.
Yeah. And then they test it out on a plant, which doesn't go well. Which I'll tell you about later. More because this is just the synopsis. They
this nonsense word coming out of your mouth.
So let's see what now. Let's see the order of events now.
They immediately bring him back from
They do, don't they? Yeah. It works. They were able to hone it to the radiation off of the suit or something like that. They put a tracker on the suit, so they're able to bring him back. Apparently painfully, which is cool. Originally, that plant was supposed to be a mouse that was going to be torn apart through different dimensions, and it was going to hear the little squeaks from all over the echoing across it. And that was supposed to be like a foreshadowing of the pain that We're supposed to think that Superman might happen to him. The problem with that was we can't do that to a mouse. We got mail, so we turned that into a plant, and unfortunately it just died. Which I think I still would have preferred to have it sort of torn apart into different dimensions in a cool way. Plants can't scream that we can hear.
Yeah. Right. If a plant screams in the Phantom Zone and no one's around to hear,
well, not to derail too much, but that would have added a lot more like darkness and depth with the whole like the mouse squeak thing.
Yeah. Oh, it would have been horrifying. It would have been absolutely horrifying. And there was just no way we can do that kind of thing. We were just like, no, we will get mail. We can't do this.
Yeah.
So we opted not to get mail. but still it's like mail, So but still I think the plant thing could have gone like cooler than just, oh, look, it's a little burnt.
I think it was hard to tell if it was like, did it age it? Did it wilt it?
Exactly. That's the thing that I think it was.
So the episode was bad.
No.
Well,
no. Wait, we haven't gotten there yet. We'll just
let's see. And now I'm trying to think now the ending all kind of like you're gonna help me out here. Let's see.
They fight for a while.
So they go back, they get the crystal after Superman comes back.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Jaxer and Mala have taken over the UN and are just about to have them sign over.
That's right. They're about to do the UN. That's the deal. Yeah. Superman's like, why not so fast?
Yep.
And then what happens? Let's see.
Superman leads them to the Daily Planet.
That's right.
They get shot with the Phantom Zone projector.
Yes.
Instead of moving out of the way, they just sit there in the air going, no! And then get hit with the Phantom Zone projector.
I think that's one of those timing things.
I know.
My beef overall with this it's a lot of little touches. It's like a little bit of like, some were like staging errors, I think. Some was acting where there's a lot of hand acting that I really hate. And they really overdid it, and they didn't draw it well. So you get a lot of these wrists kind of like popping back and wrist rotations where things feel really cartoony. So it's almost like there was like part of the crew was cartoony and part of the animators, and as well as some of the timing where it's like I was like that thing when Mala hears Lois like make some line and she's like, she realizes that, that they're kind of an item and she slow burns. Yeah. She doesn't slow burn. She just burns, and it's like, you can see that the acting just like, it just isn't quite, it's like, it's either too melodramatic or just not enough. There's something there that just kind of bothered me overall, like little bits here and there. And it's like, overall the story works, everything plays, but I think I really, in hindsight, watching it now, like, wow, I wish I'd gone over that a lot more.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I feel like it's maybe what I'm picking up on is it's like a difference between every animation studio knows how to animate, but they all have their sort of different shortcuts or whatever. So, like, a TMS episode where Mala turns toward the camera to make an angry face would have, like, swift movement and then like she'd furrow and then grit her teeth, like do all this like handful of things, versus this was more the like 2 frames to look this way and then 2 alternating frames of gritted teeth back and forth to show like angry.
Exactly.
And it's like not bad looking, but yeah, it was very like
but it's different. Just very basic. So it's like it's like everywhere it is kind of like wasn't quite as polished and as finessed as some of the other episodes that we had done.
I feel like it was still a well I know we've been talking about how consistently good quality the show is compared to Batman so far. Of like, there's not been a bad episode. There's just been ones that aren't quite as good as the other ones or whatever, and they've all been pretty consistently good or whatever. So
and they're all entertaining though. That's the thing. So they're all a good fun. You know, it's funny. It didn't make the big splash. I keep talking to people that like, it's a good show, but it's not, Batman.
It's not the other ones.
They were like, and I'm like, you realize that there are a lot of weak episodes on Batman.
Yeah, people forget them for some reason, including myself.
And it's like, I love Batman. I think it broke ground, but it was like, but I think you just can't break ground every time. And people didn't feel like this was as innovative, even though it was harder to do because Superman had been done before and we had ourselves to compete with.
let me read y'all the official synopses. They're very short.
Oh, yes.
Part 1. Superman decides to release Mala, a Kryptonian criminal, from the Phantom Zone. But when Mala proves too power-hungry for this world, Superman tries to send her back. Mala escapes with the Phantom Zone projector and releases Krypton's most notorious traitor, Jax-Ur. Part 2. Intent on conquering the world, Jax-Ur and Mala send Superman into the Phantom Zone and then destroy the projector. As their decimating attacks begin, that's Brian's least favorite word, it's up to Lois and Professor Hamilton to rescue the Man of Steel in time. Because everyone apparently uses decimated wrong, right?
I mean, it literally means to decrease by a factor of 10.
Okay, well, I would say they
so
do
literal.
that. They turn the Space Needle into a tenth of the Space Needle.
I love that bit. That's like, what? Like, bam, that Space Needle thing, and then Superman is like, where do I put this? Oh, those 3 buildings.
It's a good thing they're perfectly spaced
there's
apart.
People in there.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. How do they get out of there? Yeah.
Well, I just figured, a long ladder. There might be like one of the rooftops, like might have like a, something like,
I always try to like benefit of the doubt that Superman comes back after the scene fades out and saves him or something. Like we just don't need to see it happen.
My thought is, why did he like got it and like he got control of it when he was on the bridge and then he decided to fly with it? It's like maybe put it on a park somewhere.
Okay. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, it's like there's got to be a park. But again, he's in the middle of a fight. He's got to I got to put this down. I got to catch these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, there. They won't die if I put them here.
Right.
Immediately. Unless they
the Metropolis Space Needle. Yeah.
Speaking of like death and bad things, I've been trying to learn Spanish as of late.
Oh yeah.
I understand Mala to be like bad or like foreboding or something like that. I don't have the correct definition.
Bad. Yeah, Mala is bad. Yeah, it's the feminine.
Yeah.
Malo, Malaf. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I did
Professor
have it right.
Hamilton didn't go like, hang on a second.
Yeah. Let's look at her name. Do you know whose call that was to name her Mala?
I don't know. I because I think it's like in the early Bible for the series. For some reason, we weren't allowed to use any of the characters, the Kryptonians from the Superman movie. I don't know if that was, so no Zod.
Are you familiar with General Zod? He's the Terrence Stamp, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a character from the first 2 Superman Christopher Reeve movies. Main bad guy.
It's been such a long time that I'm sure if I saw it, I'd be like, oh, right, that guy. As of right now.
You also probably know the Phantom Zone as a 2D square floating away with people going, oh!
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, this Phantom Zone is way cooler.
As he turned toward Dan, I promise I like this
No,
one.
Because that was always like, I remember as a kid, even that was kind of like, it was kind of comical.
Goofy.
And this reminded me of Beetlejuice. Where there's like the Lost Souls room.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it's like all these like ghosts just kind of like this in this ether and weirdness.
Well, I'm glad that you said that and not what we were ripping off. I mean, inspired by.
What were you ripping off?
Inspired by.
What were you inspired by?
Well, it all goes back to this guy, Jack Kirby. He does.
That's what he looks like. He looks like Dan Turpin.
Jack Kirby. He's just like the most creative guy in the universe. He was, and he the Phantom Zone is our Phantom Zone is sort of like, well, it's the negative zone from the Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
is really like the weird colors, the Kirby crackle in the background, all that stuff was sort of inspired by that. That was our take on it. I mean, even though, because in the Phantom Zone, it was just like, in the comics, it was just like this cloudy limbo ether. It's just like a steam room. It wasn't kind of like,
Superman, take me out of here, please. I've served my sentence. In a towel.
Just imagine it's like a steam room where everyone's a ghost. And everybody is transparent.
Yeah,
man,
that's kind of how they. That's how they draw. That's how they drew it. Yeah, if we did it literally, that's what it would have been like. And it was like, it's kind of interesting, but kind of dull. We wanted it to be more, energetic and crackly, and
it's
spooky.
Definitely always like creeped me out, because on one hand you can't get a sense of where, like, what's up and what's down, and like how fast anyone is moving, and how do they stop themselves from moving, how do they get closer to, because you see Mala and she's like floating around going like, looking around, oh, whose voice is that? But then when they're gonna let her out, she like floats toward the eyepiece. How does she know where that is? But she shouldn't, that's not like an error. It's just like a weird, creepy, like it makes me uncomfortable, like, to imagine being in there.
Well, I and that's the other thing that's missing that I wish we had kind of explored. It's like, what's Superman doing in that world? What's it like from his perspective?
Yeah.
That would have been kind of fun to explore.
That's why I was going to say,
I'm trying to
feel
think,
like,
did we ever go back there? Did we ever do that?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that answers something that's lingering for me is...
We see it again, but we don't go in it like we're talking about.
Well, so for me, like, in this episode, they, like, soaked up Superman with the projector thing.
Yeah.
Then, immediately after, the kryptonite. And I thought, like, Superman was going to come out with a kryptonite, but he didn't. So now there's just kryptonite floating around.
Yes.
And what does that mean for the Phantom Zone or people in there?
Yeah.
And are they affected in that zone? Or just on Earth? Oh,
man. So it's a punishment on top of punishment.
Yeah. Right.
Like, I would imagine that the kryptonite wouldn't do anything in the Phantom Zone. It would be sort of neutralized, because it's sort of like everything is sort of frozen, ghostly and ethereal and whatever.
Yeah.
But what I wonder is, like, so they're zapping creatures into the Phantom Zone. So because the whole point of the Phantom Zone is supposed to be benevolent. There is no death penalty. So this is like, it's okay. You will live forever.
Even Jor-El was like, we got to go in there to keep from being exploded. Yeah.
Oh, that's what he was talking. Yeah. Oh my God. I never made that connection.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And no wonder the science council is like,
no,
you gotta be kidding. That's full of criminals.
Yeah, there's big, like, praying mantises in there.
Exactly. I ain't going in there.
Yeah, this looks scary as hell.
Yeah. So there is that, but again, you could kind of see, like, if they had a Phantom Zone projector or some way to release themselves, time release or something. I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, or one of the. Well, I think wasn't it that, like, Jor-El was going to stay behind and spaceship away with everybody else?
That's kind of thing. And then and again, that's a lot of trust.
Yeah,
to release everybody from the planet.
To an upstart scientist with apocalyptic visions. Why would he do that? What?
But at least it's a plan, and it makes more sense than building a rocket ship for everybody to get off on at that time, to leave,
If we all turn ourselves into babies and get in this rocket ship. We also just watched Two's a Crowd with Parasite and the other guy in his brain. And there's this really cool TMS animated, swirly, fiery hellscape kind of background behind them. And whenever the Phantom Zone came up in this, my first thought was like, oh man, I wish it looked like that. But I also appreciate, of course, the Kirby crackle, negative space kind of stuff going on. It was just like, had that been handed to TMS, maybe they would have been able to. They would have
come up with something that would have looked more like that. Yeah.
Well, and I think that we've talked before about, like, Kirby crackle in motion. What does that look like? I guess you're inventing it. Because we were originally Brainiac was going to have the Kirby crackle behind him. If you look at the first episode, we tried it, and we kind of had to break it down into different forms and sort of simplify it, make it larger, and eventually it lost any kind of Kirby crackle recognizability. So we were like, on this show, we're like, okay, now we're going to do it right.
And we look at it, it's like, yeah, it's getting there, but it's still not quite there. And I think we revisited again in a later episode. We tried again with the Kirby Crackle thing, and I think we finally kind of got it.
Yeah, it pops
better
up now and then. Yeah,
you know. But it is a tough thing because it's if you look at fire, you can kind of see like in the middle of some sort of like smoky fires, you can kind of see what Kirby was trying to draw. You know, the middle of certain explosions and stuff like that. You can kind of see where that comes from.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful abstraction.
Yeah.
It's
very
really cool.
Unique. Yeah. The part where Superman gets pulled in. And then we fade to commercial. Oh no, he's in the Phantom Zone and they blew up the thing. How are they going to get him out? Fade back from commercial and they're like, oh, I've locked onto him and he's out now. Is like, that feels like a thing that was either a rushed, like, we got to put this in, or maybe was like going to be a 3-parter, or it could be a 3-part, or something like that. Because that feels like a very good ending to a part 2. Like, oh no. And then it takes half the episode next time to bring him back or something.
I know. And in hindsight, looking at them, because I think it's well written. I kind of blame the, execution to some degree for issues. But I think maybe if there is a flaw in the thing, is that it's sort of like too much is set up on Superman sort of training Mala and sort of this idea of her having a benevolent. I mean, I think that was the whole idea, was that we're trying to set that up, but it's sort of like maybe like going to school or teach her about like Earth more than teaching her to fight, before anything.
Yeah, all he does is go like, you gotta not be bad though.
Pinky promise.
Yeah.
And that's the part about it. It's like, okay, because I'm going to have another crime fighter here. And it's like, well, how do you know that? Why don't you teach her about the world first? And her place in it, and
to be fair, I mean, Bob's written a ton of awesome stuff from here out, and it's like I don't look at this and go like, oh man, what a terrible story.
No, not at all, and it's very entertaining.
Yeah.
Totally. I can see from the standpoint. That's why I kind of like. I'd say it's like if we had staged it better.
Well, just if
our acting had been better somehow. I wouldn't feel as sort of like.
Just looking back on it, it's like this is Bob's second episode he wrote for any of this, and he's like being thrust into no offense, but if it was like Pound Puppies or something, it'd be like, who cares? But it's Superman. So you look back at it 30 years later and go like, why didn't you do this, this, and this? Because that was the second episode I wrote. I was figuring it out,
Right. And again, he's writing something that's real. He's thinking entertaining.
Yeah.
He's thinking, of overall structure and entertainment rather than just sort of like logic,
Right.
It is one of those things that just like that we rush through to get stuff done. And that's kind of like sometimes that's what happens.
Well, since we've sort of been up and down on it, what did you think of this episode, Brian?
I liked it.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad.
It was, I think it was engaging. I liked the art. And it's funny, like hearing you complain about the like hand movements and overacting and stuff. And it's always like, I get it, because with all the art stuff that I do, I always go back with the like, oh, this, that, or like times I've been on stage and just like, oh man, I like totally botched that. That was terrible. Why did I do it so badly? But I think there is something to be said for the like first, second, third watch throughs where it's like, I'm not to that point of nitpicking at it yet.
That's where I come in.
Yeah. But I think the whole thing lands. I think it's actually a really strong episode. And I get that there's like things that you're like, oh man, it could be better by this, and this, and this, and this.
Exactly. And that's the thing. That's where, I'm glad. I'm so glad because I go, oh, wish blah, blah, blah. But you forget, it's hard work. There was a lot of effort put into it. So the fact that any of it landed at all, it's great.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't gotten to this yet, and we won't for a while, but everybody's been so on record about the Justice League show. You're having to keep track of seven different, main heroes most of the time, and how much of a hurdle that is and stuff. Whereas like, even just jumping from Batman to this, I was thinking this whole episode of like, the collateral damage and the amount of like fleeing citizens you see is 100% more than Batman ever dealt with. So there's just like Batman punches the guy and he falls down, and this in the city street background, there's 1 or 0 people, affected by what's going on. Whereas Superman you got to like portray that, hey, this is a big deal and people live here and it's daytime and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So like you're already just having to take such a giant leap of like, hey, really immediately do a lot more with this.
Yeah. No, it's true. Thank you for taking that into account. Yes, when I look at some scenes and I go, wow, that's awfully sparse. There should be more people on the street. And then I see all these people in the street later on. I'm like, oh, that was hard to do. I remember now.
It's like every time that Ted on our Legacies comic, when Ted makes me draw like a big crowd, I'll be like, damn it, Ted. Like, this is going to take so much longer if there wasn't a big crowd here.
That was, speaking of crowds, and I guess we could, I don't know if you want to get into keen effects.
What? You can just say it.
There's something like the whole like, crowds are hard to draw, and there was one scene here where like they were doing the it was like on Krypton, and it was
there was a front row of guys, everyone else was a painting. Is that what
yeah. And like knowing that and like only having animated the front row, like I understand it. Normally that annoys me, or when there's like 3 or 5 people in a crowd that are animated, everybody else is still. There was something about the fact that it was everybody in like a tight formation,
they're
and
in a grid,
like the atmosphere that was added to it. As I watched it and like the camera went by, I was like, oh, that's cool. And they show it again from the back. I'm like, that's sweet. I really liked that.
I tell you, the one thing that I wanted to do, and I don't know what happened, I think it was just too hard to engineer, was to have more of those faces, those heads in the crowd sort of be more silhouetted, and so that we could have an arm show up, like their arms in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like
just a big blob
behind them, just
sticks.
In the painting, an arm would pop up, here and there. So that kind of like when you see, like if you're watching a Disney crowd scene in like Dumbo or something, where it's like they're generally static and nobody's moving, but then a couple of guys in the foreground are pointing at Dumbo as he flies by.
Yeah.
And then somebody in the background might be doing it too, but you get the sense that everyone is doing it because they're all like looking in the same direction and they're all like, or I think the Fleischers, even like in the gorilla episode, they'll have like the foreground characters running away and the background characters are doing something else. And they're just kind of like, and then in the back, there's paintings, but
the farther away it is, the less necessary. Yeah.
I think that had been, we were thinking about doing that, and I don't know why it wasn't employed. I don't know what happened, but I guess it worked out for the best. If that worked for you,
I was going to say if it's Brian, if Brian was fine with it. But also the next couple shots after that, where it's like a little mini, kind of montage of them trying to take over Krypton. And there's all the soldiers running through, and it's very clearly, 3 or 4 frames of where he'll hit the next mark, and then he'll repeat as the next guy like running. And a lot of the time when that stuff is done, even like 7-year-old me watching this show is just going like, that's so, wow, just draw guys. I mean, obviously I had no idea of how much more work that would be. This, I think, actually pulled it off pretty well, where you could barely tell that they were the same guys looping over and over, because the camera's also panning across everybody the whole time. And there's nobody that's arbitrarily like glitching off screen too soon or anything like that. There's I
don't think I've been distracted by something like that in a long time, actually.
The one thing that I there's one shot that looked cool, but I wish it had been cooler, is there's an upshot of Marlon Jackson and the hands all coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the intention, and I don't know who screwed it up, if it was in the layout or what, but the intention had been for the fists to be like far away in the foregrounds, and what I saw was just like a clump of fists all in the same area. Like there's like 5 guys all raising their fists up.
Right next to each other.
It's supposed to feel like depth, like you're like boom, 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 in the distance, That didn't quite read. And I was kind of like, that isn't that hard to do, because you just do them at different sizes.
Sure.
And what really helps also is to like put shadow colors on them so the foreground guys would be darker. So you really get depth. And I'm like, wow, that could have been cooler, and I don't know.
Well, like Brian also, like, I think you said like, oh, that's cool when Superman kind of fades into the next moment of the flashback, like now I'm here.
Yeah, he like came in with kind of like a turn, so like he faded in and turned at the same moment, and it just had this weird dimensional kind of shit, and that legitimately caught me. I was like, what the? That's awesome.
Well, one of the things that we had done with that Brainiac projecting thing was that the very first time we did it, we did a rotation where the background and the foreground are rotating, and he's animating in the center.
Yeah, we really liked that shot in Stolen Memories.
And we're kind of like we're still playing off of that. That's like part of what these memories are supposed to suggest.
I thought it was really funny also thinking of, he brings Professor Hamilton to the fortress and he's like, so this is the orb, and he's like, yes, Brainiac will now show us the stuff. And then he does his little symbol hand, it shoo onto his forehead, and then he kind of stands there for just a beat too long, where I was almost expecting Hamilton to turn around and being like, is something supposed to be happening? As if like Superman's in there talking to Brainiac, but on the outside he's just standing there doing nothing. And Hamilton's just like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be seeing something?
Superman, there's a polar bear coming.
He's going to maul me to death. Can you please help?
Well, you notice that he has to touch Hamilton.
Yeah, I figured that was the connection. But
we should have played that up more too. I like that idea. It's like we could have had Hamilton going, what's going on? And him.
Oh, sorry.
Like, oh no, I see. It's like,
oh my God, Dan! I've got a Fortress of Solitude gripe that I need some answers for.
Okay.
At the very end, Superman's like hanging out with his little like kind of warthoggy looking something buddies.
Yeah, it's like
there's like 2 or 3 of them in there, and the Collector was getting the last of a species. But Superman's got more? Like 3 or 4 or a dozen of these, so they couldn't have been the last of their species. And I just don't know.
I said they asexually reproduced, and
some of them do. Yes, no, it's true. And who's to say whether the Preserver had 2? I mean, by last of the species, he's,
Oh, okay, well. not last one, but like, these are running out.
Who's to say? This guy here on the Zoom call with us.
It's like when it comes to the Kryptonian and the Zarnian, when it comes to Lobo and Superman, yes, they were the last. But I think in general, he kind of wants to preserve a race.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that was on your mind also because of, as soon as Mala showed up, you said, Eggy Wrinkles isn't going to want to preserve Superman anymore because he's not going to be after Superman because there's another one, but maybe he still would. He'd want both of them now,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
That's something that's always bothered me about science fiction is like, those are the Kryptonians, where it's like, there was a Shoggoth on Krypton. There was a dog on Krypton. Like, are those not Kryptonians? Like, what does that count as? What is this? When you see all the Brainiac worlds that Brainiac has destroyed, all the lizard people go running by, but they probably also had lizard dogs and lizard cats and whatever. I
guess that's it's a very humanist perspective.
Yeah,
right?
There's one species on this planet and another one species on this planet. Yeah,
maybe it's like a master. Like, what's the apex, and that's what he's after.
Exactly,
sure,
the predominant species which of course on Earth would probably be an ant.
I was say it would be ants.
Because
the Preserver would come. Let's say who's the most successful. Oh well, the ants. The rulers of this world.
The carpet mites.
It's the tapeworm.
That is such an interesting take. I want to see that now, where it's like, he's here to preserve our species, and he just goes and picks up some ants.
See ya. This will do, and then blows up the planet.
Statistically, I'm not here. The world's gonna blow up. They come to preserve us. No, I just come from the.
The Preserver sees how we're affecting the ozone and goes, I better get the ants. There's not much time. So I also was thinking about you brought up the plant and how it was going to be a mouse and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in terms of things that were going too far or whatever in this episode that may have been an original plan but you couldn't do or something, I'm curious about the scene where Superman teaches Mala how to use her powers, and then he's like, you're ready for a night on the town, let's go. There's a bank robbery. you go stop those two guys. And then as soon as he said that, Brian was like, oh, this is going to be bad. But then, like, if this had been like a movie or something, you might expect Mala to have like Phantasm level, like she murders these guys and Superman's. You can't do that.
Absolutely.
Instead, the maximum she does is what Batman would do.
Like, picks up a guy from his shirt and is like...
Because the police come by and they're like, did Superman do this? As if it's this horrific scene. And it's like, Batman would throw a guy in the alleyway. Like, Batman would hold up a guy.
Honestly, Bob's not to blame.
I'm sure he's not. No.
Because I honestly, I think the intent of the intent of the scene would have been to have more destruction. I think the car should have been, on fire and blown up. Oh, he broke some boxes. That guy should have been like hospitalized.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have been like, thrown through a wall. And they should have been much higher.
You can't.
Obviously, the network wouldn't let us. Like, we couldn't dismember anybody. His arm came off.
Yeah, well, that's what I was like. Because when she peels the roof off his car, I was like, oh, this is she's gonna mess this guy up. But then she just goes like, and you're going to say you're sorry.
Yeah.
And Superman's like, hey, Mala, don't be so mean. Don't be a playground bully to this guy.
What I thought would have been pretty cool would have been if she just started to like burn him.
Yeah.
And then his shirt catches on fire. And Superman's like, no,
okay, you have to stop.
And he has to pull him away and save him, put him out.
Yeah.
That was something that kind of caught me, that I guess surprised me. And again, I forget. These are the things that I don't have in my head. Is that like, you guys are like, you're only pushing as far as the sensors and the network will allow, which makes sense.
Pretty much, but still, we could have visually had made it a little more intense so that she would seem like much more out of control. I don't think we had like any BS&P like pushback or anything. That was just a matter of like not going as far as we could have.
You probably expected you couldn't take it farther or something.
I think so. Yeah. I think everybody was just sort of like, our instincts were just to pull back more and not, not going to let us do more, so why should we,
Yeah. I'm just thinking of future stuff that you got away with more, but at the same time, I realized that that's Cartoon Network and not Kids WB. So
right, exactly. Because I mean, it's like you think of like she should have been lobotomizing people, like something else. Some other thing.
Good catch. Yes, I was like, oh, do I need to? No, we'll be right back.
Sorry, I'm such a noob.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. No, it's great. It's awesome. You're like seeing the show through.
Yeah.
This is great. It's so cool. It's like it's a baby. You're like a little baby.
A little baby who didn't care when Darkseid showed up last episode. You're like, who's that? I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. I love it.
Is that weird for you specifically to be like, well, here's this like full grown dude who is like watching this like kids show with zero expectation or prior knowledge?
Yeah. No, it is weird. It is weird, but it's awesome. It's awesome because it's like because at least you seem to be interested. And you seem to be entertained.
I force him to be interested.
Most people would just dismiss the whole thing and go, that's just crap. Well, what are you doing wasting your time with that crap? So there's two camps of like people who adore
Step
this
one,
stuff.
Befriend Brian. And Step two, force him to watch Batman the Animated Series.
and then there are those the other people that just sort of like going, no. I only like horror films, and this is like baby stuff. I don't watch cartoons. So it's
Brian gives most things a chance. Like, this isn't the first example of him just being like, I'll check out that thing. Like,
yeah. And I do like, honestly, like, I'm still a kid at heart and I love cartoons. And like, admittedly, Superman, I think I've been exactly as you were explaining earlier. Yeah. Like, I do know that Batman had a lot of flop episodes, but it had a lot of really great episodes. Yeah. And I know that like you've kind of given me some warning, James, that like, we're not there yet with like the heavier Superman things, but yeah, Superman hasn't gripped me as hard as Batman, and I think it's because I have this expectation now of like Batman and the Batman universe, and like this is how things are, and I just have such a hard time like pinning like Superman's abilities and stuff and the world that he exists in.
That's exactly. When I was watching this episode, I was going, I remember now how hard this show was because of that, because everybody thinks they know what Superman is. Whereas at that time, Batman hadn't really been done properly yet. you know.
Yeah, I mean, you had like the 60s was probably the most prominent.
And mind you, I love the 60s show, and I like the Keaton film, and I thought that was fine. You know, all that stuff was great. But honestly, neither of them were my Batman. They weren't really like the comic book version that I really wanted to see. And so we all kind of knew what the show was supposed to be. Whereas Superman, we're kind of going, okay, we know what Superman is already, because we've got all the history. We've got all these different cartoon versions. We've got the George Reeves series and the Christopher Reeve movies. We've got all of this stuff already that sort of formulated what Superman is. How do we reinvent that? How do we do this and make a new version of it that feels fresh and is not something we've seen a million times?
Copycat, yeah.
And it was a tough slog to kind of like find that happy medium, to kind of like feel like we're getting something that still feels fresh. I think the best thing in the world happened that we didn't model it after the Fleischer Superman, because we would always have been compared to those, and we would have always had failed compared to those. It would never have been as good as those Fleischer Superman cartoons.
I mean, I agree in the fact that, like, yeah, conceptually, visually, you'd be compared to them. I think that, like, were it the same stories but with the skin of the Fleischers, like, on top of it or something, it would still stand out to me as a completely fresh idea version. But at the same time, you're not, that wouldn't have happened because of all the other,
exactly. I mean, I do love art design. I think he's great, and he's really cool. He's a great looking Superman. But that, or when Bruce did those drawings of that, classic Schuster Superman, it was just like
a video I'll get to show Brian in like 2 years. But
oh man, it just like, it kills me sometimes when I think of what it could have been, and we're like, oh well, the Kirby stuff wouldn't have fit as well. I'm like, you know what? I think it might have fit. I think it would have worked. I think it would have worked now. It
would have been a definite like dichotomy between the like, oh, it's just the 40s here and Superman, and then like, oh my God, who is Space Satan? What's going on? In a good way. Yeah. We should get to the cast of this episode.
Okay.
We had Tim Daly as Superman / Clark Kent, and Dana Delaney as Lois Lane. Of course. Leslie Easterbrook as Mala, who previously voiced Randa Dwayne in Heart of Steel, the blonde robot woman.
Oh,
wow. Marilyn Monroe.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, who would you think I was talking about?
His wife.
Whose wife?
Mr. Freeze, whatever Freeze
is
real name.
Oh, that was Nora.
Nora, you're right. Nora
Freeze.
Yeah, I said Heart of, and you went, oh, Nora Freeze.
Yeah.
And I don't think I knew that. I don't think I realized that those were the same.
No, I didn't either.
Actor.
I didn't remember that either.
Well, I just thought that was cool because like you were talking about that her voice is very fitting for the, like, there's something off about her. Because also she was Robot Lady, where there was something off about her. So, Clancy Brown is Lex Luthor, who had his like Trump speech cameo on the TV.
Yeah.
Oh, and like with the whole insurrection thing, it was just a little too on the nose.
Jaxer almost literally said, "Make Krypton great again" when he's up on the thing.
He really does, doesn't he?
Yeah, you guys were ahead of the curve.
We really were.
Lock up Jaxer.
I did think about this insurrection. I'm like, what is this?
We're storming the council.
I only wish we had a Phantom Zone.
Oh man.
Same.
Lauren Tom as Angela Chen. What did she? Oh, she was just on TV at some point. Corey Burton as Brainiac, and in this, Brainiac is just the Mickey Mouse circle.
It's just the computer.
Which, that was interesting. I think this is the first time we've had that where he just accesses the orb and Brainiac is literally there going like, yes, what would you like to know? I'm Siri. And
I'm glad to hear you say that, because that was something that I was kind of taken aback. I'm like, have we seen this? Like, I only known Brainiac to be, first off, helpful, secondly, very bad, and now suddenly he's just kind of there. And I was like, is this like an instance of Brainiac?
See, this is because it's all his, like, his programming is him, essentially. So, like, why is this version just like, hi, I'm Batman. I just want to help.
Yeah. He's the librarian, essentially, to the
orb.
Information.
So you guys also predicted Siri, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
We came up with everything that you like.
Nostradamus.
I love your nonchalance with that. Just yeah.
Anyway, Victor Brandt as Professor Hamilton. Ron Perlman as Jaxer, a.k.a. Clayface.
Oh.
Yeah. Jim Cummings as Phantom Zone Beast. I think he was also one of the bank robbers. We always have these like normal, human English voice actors that are also just do a bunch of sounds for random episodes.
But you know who Jim Cummings is, right?
Winnie the Pooh and Darkwing Duck. Yeah.
So this was like, a crossover between Winnie the Pooh and Superman. So.
Yeah, where Winnie the Pooh is a horrific lobster alien. He was previously Jekko the Clown in Be a Clown.
That's right.
Tigress and Garth in Tiger Twiger.
My God, he was everybody.
And the Sloths in House and Garden. That
is actually... That just occurred to me, though. Yeah. The idea of him being Tigress is hilarious because she's also...
Oh, Tigger. Yeah.
Tigger.
So, we did not.
Can you go
Tigress
back
are
and
wonderful things because he's the only one. That should have been the poem that Batman sang at the end of the episode.
That's how great these voice actors are, by the way. It's like they just like become other things, and you've got that Frank Welker who was like any monster, animal.
And then I'm also Fred from Scooby-Doo.
And he's also Fred. It's like, holy cow, that guy is amazing. And Bowser also is one of those guys. And also Brainiac.
Corey Burton.
Corey Burton he's like the modern Paul Frees, who, if you don't know, was Boris Badenoff, but also the voice at the Disney rides.
Oh.
He was that. Okay. He has that sort of, just his voice is just like butter. It's just amazing. He sounds like Orson Welles, but just marvelous, range. Yeah. But he goes from like this, he can do all sorts of stuff.
But I will still always hear like just that 1% Jim Cummings in all of his voices where I can go, that's Jim Cummings.
Yeah.
But someone like Corey Burton, his voice will show up in, this character was Corey Burton. No, it wasn't. There's no way.
That's the Ludwig von Drake.
Yeah,
the scientist character in the Disney stuff. That's like it's amazing.
I knew hilarious. He did so many things, but then the first Last Son of Krypton, when I was looking up the first instance of a new actor, I'll list out like stuff you might know them for. And I was like, Ludwig von Drake, maybe he just did him like once. No, he was just him all the time. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, Paul Frees originated the role, but he died like in the
right,
like 70s, early 80s, whatever, 70s, whatever. So it's like it's been Corey ever since, and it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah.
And the thing was like the Brainiac voice is based on the Control voice from The Outer Limits.
Oh,
have you ever? So you ever watch? You watch the title sequence will be online somewhere, just where it's like, we control your set, we control your. There's nothing wrong with your TV. It's like, for the next hour,
that makes total sense. Yeah,
and that is Vic Perrin, who was the voice of Dr. Zinn on Johnny Quest, and and Corey can just do a perfect Vic Perrin impersonation. He actually worked with Vic, and he knew the guy, and he actually does that voice perfectly.
That's the thing for me is like, I'm not as versed in this whole world as the two of you are, but I love and have this weird kind of like hindrance of like good voice actors who are good voice actors, but then there's like the voice actors who are this next level. And like the thing that comes to my mind is, and of course I have like the tattoo, but Over the Garden Wall has like,
I know
you've got like Tim Curry, you've got John Cleese, and it's like they're amazing voice actors, but you're just like, that's Tim Curry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like they're great at it, but they're not disguising
it's like Christopher
themselves.
Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd is amazing, and you're like on that, but it's like, that's Christopher Lloyd.
So they're like they're perfect about it, but it's not like disguised. But maybe they weren't cast or asked to do it differently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like that kind of Mark Hamilism of just like your voice can do whatever and you portray whatever perfectly.
Right.
But I mean, again, I I think Over the Garden Wall is perfect.
That is a perfect cartoon, though. The Elijah Wood is so great in that. That is like one of my favorite Cartoon Network things, and it's great to watch around Halloween, even though it's like goofy and cartoony. It's like really creepy.
Here?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Oh, we got George Zunza as Perry White,
who was previously he was the ventriloquist.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Everyone's coming back.
Yeah. Ron Glass as news anchorman. This is his only DCAU acting credit. I think he was the guy being like, the UN has the guys are there at the UN. He played Shepard Book in Firefly and Serenity. We were just talking about this. It's the Shepard guy.
We know him from Barney Miller.
Yes, I was just about to say he's also Ron Harris, 164 episodes of Barney Miller. It was weird because we were just talking about this, about being disappointed in me that I've not watched Firefly, but then Brian has also not watched Firefly.
Me neither.
Oh, okay.
Neither.
Well, hell yeah.
Honestly, here's the thing. I know it's great.
Yes.
I know it's great. And I've seen enough of it, and I know, like, I saw a chunk of the movie, and I was like, right. I gotta save this. Can't watch the Serenity. I have to watch the series, and I've been saving it, kind of like I did that with Breaking Bad. When I finally binged Breaking Bad, so I did finally watch it.
That was unfortunate, Brian.
By the way, Barney Miller is awesome. If you ever see reruns of that show, just
I've got a couple times.
Give it a watch, because. And it's got Abe Vigoda, who was in Mask of the Phantasm.
Sal Balestra,
Yeah.
That was one of my points of pride. Was Brian just got asked to be on someone else's podcast, The Film Realists, a couple weeks ago, to talk about Mask of the Phantasm, and he happily agreed, like just Brian, and he happily agreed, and he got to watch Mask of the Phantasm again. And in the podcast at some point, the host Kyle was like, and his who was that character? And then Brian was like, oh, Salvatore Valestra. And I was like, oh my goodness, my baby boy. Like, he's all grown up. So yeah, I like that.
I'm learning.
Awesome. The last of the cast is Carrie Tambazian as female correspondent. She had bit parts in Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, Law and Order, and Osmosis Jones were the big ones I checked out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's funny that I guess because this was such big news, we just didn't have the same reporters all the time.
Right, yeah.
It seems odd that we would
so
just,
many,
why not Angela Chen again?
Yeah.
Why not, it's
well,
like...
the running gag with Summer Gleason was the first episode she was in, I think, was Heart of Ice, and when Brian was describing the episode, doing his synopsis, he said, and then Batman just like gives the tape to some lady, and so then we called her Some Lady the rest, because it was already the first part of her name. Eric kept calling her that like a whole series. And
Some Lady Greason.
Yeah, and when Angela Chen showed up, I said, like, Lauren Tom is Angela Chen for the first time, and he making this kind of face of like, who was that? And I was like, that's the Some Lady of this show. All right, I got some trivs, and Dan can always be here to confirm or deny said trivs.
Oh, my favorite part.
In part 1, in a fit of rage, Mala uses her heat vision to blow up a TV set. The ensuing explosion is reused footage from the gas canisters that Superman ignites in The Way of All Flesh. This footage is used again in part 2 when Superman electrocutes Mala, and again when he throws a car at her.
How did people catch this?
I don't know, because we're all big fat nerds, dude. I mean, that happens all the time.
That explosion looks familiar.
Yeah. During Brainiac's exposition about Jaxer's coup, several of his charging soldiers pop off the screen at the bottom rather than move out of frame gradually. I disagree. I just said I thought that they didn't, and that looked good.
I noticed those things a lot lately. I've been watching old cartoons where Woody Woodpeckers where things pop off the screen, and I scream at the people. There's no quality control.
Well, isn't that kind of a like whatever you would call like the safe margins, the bleed area or whatever of like a TV set? Like, oh, they're gone enough.
No. We're talking about in the middle of the screen where things drop off.
Okay.
But these guys, maybe that was it. I don't remember them dropping off, so I think it might just be choppy animation. We would have called.
I barely noticed this while we were watching. Superman's wearing the anti-kryptonite suit while in the Phantom Zone, but when Hamilton asks Lois about that very fact, the suit is in its alcove behind him next to Superman's spacesuit. And they got 2 of them. It's fine.
Exactly. Easy peasy.
I noted the spacesuit, but I didn't clock the other.
It was just like one shot. Yeah. Although his portrayal in the series is closer to that of General Zod, Jaxter is in fact an original character from the comics, a mad Kryptonian scientist. In one of his appearances, he co-engineers with Zod a race between Superman and the Flash. Mala, on the other hand, seems to be an amalgamation of 2 female villainesses, Kryptonian criminals, and Zod associates Ursa and Feora. Is this accurate?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I know that Jaxter actually came from the comics.
Yes.
That much I know. That's like...
Because Ursa was the Mala of the Christopher Reeve movies, and Feora was the Mala of Man of Steel. So they can't pick one. Yeah. Similar to Lana Lang calling Big Susan an Amazon in My Girl, Lois Lane says, "Yeah, right, and I'm Wonder Woman" in an interview with Mala. You said, "Does Wonder Woman exist?" And I just went, This is the first time Wonder Woman's mentioned in the DCAU, though this may present a continuity error since Wonder Woman does not appear until the Justice League series. I have a headcanon for this, but I can't explain it for a very long time.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Like, if I was to dismiss it, like, Wonder Woman is not an impossible thing to think up. And if someone's like, "Oh, I'm Superman," and she's like, "I'm Wonder Woman." Yeah,
exactly. It's just like a kind of throwaway.
Yeah, I like that explanation best, because otherwise it'd be like, "Oh, well, in this world, in this time, she's like comic book." But no, this has got to be the same continuity as later on down the line. So she hasn't existed yet. It's just just the thing she said.
When I asked if you would come on for this episode, you immediately said, "Yeah, no, but don't ask me about the Wonder Woman line."
No, I'm just kidding, because it's sort of like I have no real answer for that, because it's a gag that Bob put in there, and when we reference. It's funny because we can't reference Batman because Batman was still on Fox at the time. So he's always that nut in Gotham.
Yeah.
He's always referred to as that guy.
Oh my.
Yes.
Because
he's
he
on
was
another network.
On another network. Freakazoid makes a joke about that. And they show him, but they show him in silhouette and they just say, "We can't show this guy because he's on another network." But Wonder Woman, hadn't existed yet in animation. So theoretically, we were allowed to joke about her.
Yeah.
But I think I like your explanation that she's just putting 2 words together, that they alliterate and it sounds powerful. And she named her.
Yeah.
I got you, Dan.
You know what would be cool, though, is if we had Lois name her Wonder Woman
in the show. Yeah. That would be kind of
later on down the line. Like, I was right.
Yeah. She does exist. Yeah.
Those 2 words come together.
Well, and now I'll do a little plug for that Justice League Revisited podcast that Susan Eisenberg's doing. You were just on for Secret Origins. Yeah. You brought up...
should I leave?
No. You brought up how the whole thing with like, we almost couldn't have Wonder Woman, that kind of thing.
Yes.
With the whole like Marston estate business in that regard, could you just even say Wonder Woman in this without getting their permission?
Yeah, we probably owed them a lot of money. I don't know.
Yeah, they're just, please don't. I hope they don't watch this episode or something.
I think parody, or I think it counts as sort of like, one-time parody use or something like that. It's just a line. If it would actually showed her, then it would have been a problem.
Right, yeah. Perry's insistence that the Daily Planet staff find Jaxter and Mala just before they come into the building is a tribute to the movie Superman 2, which has Perry talk about Zod, Ursa, and Non just before they attack the planet building. Is that coincidence? Is that a reference? I guess that's a Bob question, maybe. But
yeah, it's a Bob question. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a reference to it, because there's so much of this that's sort of inspired by that. So
I think some of that kind of comedy in this landed really well. Others were almost bogged down the menace of everything, like perfect comedic timing, bursting into the Daily Planet right after they're talking. How are we going to look them up in the white pages? There they are. And then everyone else that's younger than us goes, "What the fuck is the white page?"
Oh no, that's like a lost joke now.
It is.
Oh, that's sad.
Exactly. We have to dub over like Wikipedia or something.
Yeah, very awkwardly.
Wikipedia. Google it. Shall I Google it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then, and you also have just like the scene of them at the United Nations being like, "Please sign these terms of surrender. Yes, we now own your planet." feels very Christopher Reeve-y, very kind of like a little bit cheesy and whatever. And I don't have any problem with any of it, but it does, and because most of the episodes in daytime and all this stuff, it never quite got me to that level of like, oh my God, these guys are going to really like screw up everything and take over the planet. It's like, no, it's gonna be okay. Like, I think it'll be fine.
And honestly, there's one shot of like the destruction that they've caused in the world in the show, like the Middle East, and you're just
it's
like
almost comically over the top.
It really does. It looks like something like a parody or something of destruction. It just,
there's guys combing the desert in the background.
Well, like, ships are dropping, and it's like it felt. I'm like, oh, I wish we had done something more realistic here. This just feels.
In the last 3 days, Jaxer and Mala have demanded that all water be turned pink. Oh no, please. Last couple things. According to this episode, although Superman has used the cavern in the North Pole since Stolen Memories, or since the main man, depending on how you look at things, it is Professor Hamilton who first coins the term Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you like that? Did you think that was silly and stupid?
No, I thought it was clever because like the name itself, at the risk of offending everybody.
I mean, that's been my question the whole podcast of Superman so far. Is like, did you like that, or you think it was stupid and silly?
No, I thought, like, previously I was thinking that, like, Fortress of Solitude is, like, kind of a pretentious term. To be like, my Fortress of Solitude. But then to have Hamilton?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hamilton say it, like, that sounds very, like on par for him. That's like, of course that's something he would say.
Even Superman raises an eyebrow at it.
Yeah, and so I think that was brilliantly played off.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second.
Oh, what we got?
What I got here is Doc Savage. This is October 1938.
Damn.
And this is an issue called
Fortress of Solitude.
Oh. What is that?
This is the guy that Superman is ripped off for. Superman ripped off from this guy. He's Clark Savage Jr. And he was known, he's the man of bronze.
What? No way.
Yeah.
Right.
For real?
Because for real. And it's sort of, his origin is sort of similar to Batman in the sense that he's trained since childhood to do good and whatever. So he's like a peak human perfection. So he is referred to frequently as a Superman.
Oh my God.
And he has a base on the North Pole that is a big dome where he goes to do his experiments and studies and keeps his private library and his trophies and all this stuff away from them. And Superman had a base, but they never named it until this magazine ceased publication in the 50s. And then they named it the Fortress officially. They just like, we already stole it. We already using it. Let's just name it the same thing. And it became the Fortress of Solitude officially. But Doc had it first. This 1938, and before, in fact.
Wow.
I don't think I didn't know that part of it. I do like that, as if like Professor Hamilton's like, this gives me an idea. There's another guy right over there that has a Fortress of Solitude.
Exactly. I used to read about him in the books.
Yeah.
Just like Doc Savage's book. I wish we had done that.
You could throw that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Superman's like, that sounds completely original.
No legal problems here. I'm Superman. The man of steel.
The man of bronze thing ruined me. That's amazing.
When this episode aired on Toon Disney, Jaxer's order for Mala to crush his skull while holding Superman was edited out. That makes sense.
Really?
We had all the frags and stuff edited out from Lobo also.
Yeah.
I don't know why any of Superman was ever airing on Toon Disney, but that's come up a few times in the trivia.
Everybody wanted a piece of this stuff, and they had, but they had censors that were like more intense than ours. Mm-hmm. So
let's do keen effects. The Phantom Zone, Kirby Crackle, obviously, big one.
Obviously,
I think the shot of Superman getting like ripped apart, screaming and stuff. The very first shot where he kind of fades into frame, he does a very cool like kind of whiplashy motion with his body that felt very TMS, almost as if you like. Can we just get you to do that one shot, please? Or something?
No, we did that. We designed, those poses and all that stuff.
Yeah, even Jaxer coming out of there was in a very, like, that looks like storyboarded. That was the pose you put him in. Yeah.
It's not that it's anything special, but just like something visually again that we laughed hysterically at. Just that monster coming back through that second hole or creating a new hole in the roof was just one of the funniest things.
I designed the Phantom Zone projector.
Cool. Did you?
And to be honest, because we're already ripping off, Fortress of Solitude. It is based on an element of it's a simplified element from some Kirby design from some of the comics. I've been trying to find where I got it from, but it's like that sort of basic configuration and whatever that horn, it's a simplified like exhaust port or something off of something. There's some other bigger thing that I'm like, oh, that part there would make a good Phantom Zone projector. I put that together and kind of added stuff to it and
I like that it's got just like little like radio dials on it too. It's not like a futuristic keypad or hologram or anything.
No, it's like
let me tune the Phantom Zone projector.
To me, my first glance at it reminded me of the original War of the Worlds ships.
Exactly. That was the idea. Also, that
kind of weird shape.
That thing that reminds me of the eyes and that one. Head that kind of is on a stalk that looks around. Yeah,
I love when I clock things like that. I feel so justified.
Dan can just say exactly about anything that we.
No, I actually drew that. That was part of the thing in my mind too.
You can always tell us when we're wrong, please. So
Oh, absolutely. Well. This whole idea of the Phantom Zone is supposed to be benevolent, like, oh, gee, we don't kill them, but we just send them to, suffer for eternity.
Superman's powers. Did we have any new Superman powers or weaknesses in this episode? I don't think so. He had all this basic stuff and showing Mala how to do the basic stuff.
I don't think there was anything.
Yeah. By the way, there was an edict that Bruce had on this show that I don't know if if it has come up before. They're fires, and in the comics and in the movie, he would blow them out.
Yeah,
but for some reason, Bruce thought that the image of the super breath was silly, and he forbade us from using the super breath. So that idea of like him freezing because he's like, it wouldn't work. That stuff freezes from the force of his exhalation, so we weren't allowed to use it. We come up with clever ways for him to put out fires. He doesn't put out things. No, that's not one of them.
That would have been great. Oh my God.
I have to share with him now though, the hose. So it was feeding time, the first Parasite episode. There's a big fire in Star Labs. Superman rips a pipe out of the wall and is blasting water with the pipe. Then when he's done, he just crunches off the end of the pipe to stop the water. And Brian just, without missing a beat, just very casually, that's how I stop peeing. And then I'm like losing it. And he's just, I've only peed once. I'm done now. Crunch. So there you go. That's why he doesn't use freeze breath for these reasons.
Exactly. So that's and it's So there you go. I was going to say, there's a couple. Oh, that's in the
later.
Future. That's in the future. We'll talk about something else. But you'll see. We'll like come up with clever ways for him to do things like that, which are not his super breath, which is kind of like in hindsight. I wish somebody we just talked him into it because it would have saved us a lot of trouble. It's like, and when we get to Justice League, there are other issues of other things that we weren't allowed to do, and then we kind of like eventually they crept in.
Okay, on that note, then we have our how strong 1 to 10. How strong was Superman in this episode?
He like just manhandled the Space Needle.
That's true.
Yeah, that's like a 9.5.
But he does grunt. We make sure that he's making an effort, and he's got when he does it.
This is difficult. Yeah.
Okay, so like 8.
Yeah.
8.5.
Brian tried to give him a 10 last episode for.
Did I try to give him a 10?
And I was like, no, you can't give Superman. There's only one instance that you can give Superman a 10, and it won't happen for a long time. So I'm gonna.
Okay, I'll try to be a little more conservative. I'll give him an 8 for the Space Needle wrangling.
Yeah. Where's Clayface? He was Ron Perlman. He was Jaxer. Dan, was this episode books or hip hop?
Oh dear.
I'm somewhere in the middle, I think. But
Same here.
I think it was hip hop.
I was going to say hip hop. I think so.
It makes me realize we didn't talk about the music like at all, and you had a very rare instance of going like, the music was really good in this one when it was over. I felt like Christopher Carter, especially in part 1, did a really good job of selling everything that was happening. Not that the second part was bad or anything.
No, but they both did a great job on it. But it's
the music in this show is like always happening.
That's what we got. We got Jordan Blumen for our musical thoughts.
We do. Yes, that's true. The last one before we do our top 10 placements is a new one that I invented for Superman. Because I realized going into it that almost every Superman villain is bald in some way. And so we have the baldness hierarchy, a.k.a. the balderarchy. We're not ranking them yet. We're just picking the winner per episode, and then at the end of the show, we'll rank those all against each other.
Yeah.
But I got to play the little song for you.
He's bald, I'm bald, we're all bald. But who's the baddest bald of all? It's James and Brian's final call, the balderarchy.
And I'm just so glad you're here for us with this, Dan, because
that's me.
Do you win top bald? I think Lex was in this.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like the Phantom Zone creature is the only and so it's.
Oh, he's got no hair at all.
Yeah. We list the antagonists in full before deciding who's the most. But Jaxer and Mala
have hair,
lots of hair. So yeah,
it's got to be the Phantom Zone
Phantom Zone creature.
Phantom Zone monster, yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right. Well, that was
absolutely.
Easy. And then top 10, Brian. We put him on the.
Okay.
So yeah, our top 10s. So far, have been pretty
really
similar
close
for this show. We just kicked off Stolen Memories as our bottom one so far.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't speak to us as much for some reason. But so my top 10 in reverse so far, I've got The Main Man Part 1 at the bottom now. Tools of the Trade, Fun and Games, Feeding Time, My Girl, The Main Man Part 1, A Little Piece of Home, Two's a Crowd, The Way of All Flesh, and Last Son of Krypton Parts 1 through 3 at the top.
Yeah.
I didn't hate this for sure, but I think I'm going to put it right below Feeding Time and above Fun and Games, the Toy Man. You disagree, Dan. You're making a what kind of face.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait. You're telling me that you like this one more than the
Toy Man?
Than Toy Man?
As I'm saying it, I don't know if I agree with myself.
Really?
But I do have the Toyman one a little bit low. I think that one was mostly because it was the second episode after the intro, debut stuff. And since then, we've had much more powerful villains and intriguing things going on. I do think there are better Toyman things to come from my perspective, but...
Oh, that was like one of my favorite of the series. So I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I just think that the Super Ball and the
bouncing ball. Yeah.
clever thing. And also his origin story with the pop-up book. The way his voice is so creepy, and just like forcing Lois to dress as a doll is like so weird and fetishy. He's so creepy.
No, there's lots to love about it for sure. I'm not putting it down.
It's just such a creep. I love him.
It's really interesting, and this was something that was like in Batman, something that was like a constant dilemma, and between me and like most of the listener, and we've talked about this before. Basically, like everybody has the things that really hook them, and like why they put them in the top 10. For you, like one of the bigger parts is the art in it.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm almost only solely about the story. And for you, it sounds like something like some things that rain heavy for you are like the elements of it and the creativity within the show.
And it is also like a mix between the animation, because I think the animation in Fun and Games is phenomenal. That's the one with the dinosaur, right?
Little Piece of Home has a dinosaur.
Little Piece of Home.
Fun and Games is a big duck.
Yeah.
The big duck. Oh, for crying out loud. The big duck is awesome.
For crying out loud.
Yeah.
Well, we got
the little toy planes. We got the Super Bowl. We've got his armies. His toy army. I just there's some really cool visuals in that, and he himself is like really, really, really cool.
Yeah, he's very creepy. And I think he won top bald for that episode because we don't know what's under the mask.
No, we don't. Yeah.
So that kicked Main Man Part 1 off my top 10 now.
I don't quite know where to put this. I think I'm in that same thing where, like, again, the story of it makes me want to rank it, I think, higher. because you just get a lot of like, oh, well, people are like, there are a couple of Kryptonians who are still alive, and you get a little more like in depth of like the science of some of the things. And I think that's kind of neat. It doesn't grab me as much as The Last Son of Krypton, of course.
Yeah. What is happening?
I know. I hear gongs. Are there gongs going on?
It's dogs banging gongs over there. There's a ghost in our space. Brian, we have to wrap this up.
I think I'm going to put it at number 7, between Feeding Time and My Girl.
All right.
Dan, when we last had you on for Riddler's Reform, we forgot to ask you where you would put it, above or below Zatanna. And I'm going to guess above. But you had put Zatanna at number 10 as like if it's gonna be on the top 10, it's at the bottom or whatever. Do you have a specific number in mind for Riddler's Reform, or you just want anywhere?
Well, wait, I don't even know what the criteria. Top 10 of what? You know,
I guess
10 best episodes.
So how we've been doing it is like, since I've seen everything we're gonna watch, I'm trying to keep it to just comparing to everything we're watching so far through the podcast and not thinking ahead like, well, I wouldn't put it that high because I know this thing's coming or whatever.
Yeah.
So like,
no, it's a thing with Riddler's Reform. It's like, I put it up fairly high for me, but I still like things like Baby Doll more. And there's like all those other episodes that I love so much.
Yeah,
you know, Zatanna on the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though for me personally, I just think, and then this would be up from that. Less than Riddler's Reform.
Okay.
I liked it, but I think Riddler's Reform is like it's a more solid story.
Yeah, definitely.
Man, I wanted so much more Riddler.
I know.
And you won't get him. We was robbed. Mm-hmm. And there's one that would have been a perfect Riddler show, and then we couldn't really change it because it was based on a comic.
Yeah, Diet Riddler.
And they were just like, no, that is what it is. And it was based on a comic, and we're paying the comic guy for this, and he wrote it, and we're not going to insult him by saying it would be better even though there are specific riddles in it per se, but they are kind of things for Batman to solve. They're puzzles and things for him to solve in it that really fit a Riddler type of show.
Okay, well, now we go to the future to do the mail. We're not doing that here in real time. We'll do it later without Dan. Dan doesn't get to hear the mail because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to hear all the complaints about the screaming mice. He's like, please no.
I'm so glad we didn't do that. So glad.
That yacht had one small extra yacht. Put it over.
We drop
What we drop?
our weekly yacht
Oh yeah, those.
into the comment box. First, there sure was a lot.
Now Jamie's mad.
Too bad we're all,
At least I am.
just Dylan Pollock.
Now, this was a 2-hour plus Dan Riba episode we're inside of, so let's make the mail as slow as possible. If you'd like to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of the Cat in the Claw Part 2, please leave us a voicemail or email us or send a 60-second voice message to batwagonpod@gmail.com. That's also now in the description per a couple of requests, so you can see it spelled out and know what to send shit to. This is comments and emails from last episode, which was episode 97, Two's a Crowd, or Hot Tub.
Hot Tub!
This is from Dylan Pollock. So we're doing a 2-parter right this time, he says.
You're welcome, Dylan.
Hello, James and Brian. It's time for the Thoughts of the Week from Dylan Pollock on Blast from the Past Parts 1 and 2, or back in my day, we used to just say words in our messages. None of this creative music or corporate messaging or banana universes and such. Do we have any way of knowing why a gun connected to a prison zone was in a ship with a baby? Because that is where the Phantom Zone comes from Clark's baby ship that was built
We
for the
talked
baby.
about why.
James, I can't say it because spoiler reasons, but just yes or no, do you know if there's a reason that Jaxer's soldiers back on Krypton look so much like a future character beyond this episode?
No, I don't know.
And hey, at least on Krypton, the leader of a violent insurrection receives punishment. Am I right? But also, I don't remember how it gets said, but apparently the Kryptonian Council took it easy on Mala because she was just following orders. Yikes, Krypton, not a good look. And now I'm just picturing Lex Luthor on Mala. She belongs in the Phantom Zone like the dog she is. Bringing her out was a huge mistake, many people are saying. And am I the only one who found the moment hilarious when Superman throws Mala and Jaxer and they're both falling and she uses him as a springboard to push off of and go back at Superman. And the two of them are never like discussing that for Jaxer to be like, kind of uncool. I am the guy in charge and you sort of used me as a floor. All right, enough of that. It's time for the question of the week.
No.
James' favorite part. Say this was our friend in Gotham. Do you think he would have released Mala? And if so, would he have had any hope of stopping Mala and Jaxer, or would they basically be running the planet?
No, I don't think he would have gotten that far. He wouldn't. He would just be like, he's suspicious of fucking everybody. He's probably he's suspicious of like a sound from upstairs. Like, oh, Alfred, he must be fucking shit up there. And runs out, like, he would not look into the peephole and be like, a Nazi woman from space. I'll get her out of there. Like,
she'd have to be really hot.
Well, I guess she's bordering. I think she's in the cute zone. That was from Quinlan Jones. Dear Slim Jim Smoothie and Boysenberry Bunt Cake.
Ooh, I did like Boysenberry.
Third time writing in, not counting my singular comment on your 3-hour James and Brian Lose Their Minds episode. Quick rundown on why you see bearer bonds so often in fictional crime. Bearer bonds are purchasable debt provided by the government when they needed money in times like after the Civil War. What?
I just like the idea of like purchasable debt.
Give me that debt, please.
That's my life, right?
Yeah.
Can I get a 6-pack of debt, please?
Buy? Yeah. We got some Yop in the fridge. We got a pack of debt if you'd like that.
Where do you get your debt from?
I smoke 6 debts a day. You buy the bond for $50,000. The government takes your money so they can use it. You return the bond so many years later, and you get your $50,000 back plus interest. Oh, what? They're referred to as bearer bonds because their purchase is not linked to an individual, rather the bond itself. So whoever is currently holding the bond, the bearer, is the rightful owner. Oh, like a ring bearer. Difference
or like a bear that you see in the woods.
Like a polar bear
named Gale.
Difference is one bond is worth roughly $1 million to $1.5 million in today's money. $50 million in bearer bonds is a stack of 50 pieces of paper and fits in a briefcase. $50 million in cash in $100 bills is going to be like 2 trash bags full and easily weigh over 100 pounds. And since no records are kept for the owners of bearer bonds, they cannot be tracked. Too long didn't read. A bearer bond is basically a $1 million bill. Absolutely fucking riveting, I know. I will be doing my very best to attend the in-person meeting of this strange little Yoppie family. Okay, sweet.
Yay!
To anyone else who's considering going, a tip: buy your airline tickets 3 to 5 weeks in advance. You'll get the best prices and likely a window seat if that's your thing. Sorry for the length of the email, Master James Side and Brian Niak. I only wish to serve. Please don't hurt me, Quinlan. We can't hurt you. You're not even here.
You're just a message from Dylan Pollock.
When you show up, we won't either. And I would say that the Google form is in the description as always. Go there if you can tell us if you're going to come to that March 9th in Eugene, Oregon. This is from Tip Tapricot. Didn't have time for ep or voice message this week, but wanted to say I know both the vor and the time, and actually knew the time before the bell when I was a kid. Taco time. Forever. Fuck yeah, taco time.
Tip Tapricot, we gotta...
Isn't vor like a fetish thing of being eaten? Isn't that a thing? Someone will tell me. Pretty sure
like a vorophiliac or something like that.
I don't know. This is from what I was saying is Gvaig for a while.
But
it's a pronunciation. The character for Gwei it's a character for Gwei cinnamon. So valuable cinnamon. And trans rights at the end. I think that's the third Gwei. So Gwei K is how we say it probably.
I just really wanted it to be like, I wanted the big reveal to be like cute cinnamon.
Treasure cinnamon. No, I'll go to Gwei. We know now. This is from Eric LeBeau. What's good, James L. and Brian
Not much.
It's been a minute since I sent an email. Nothing's good. I smoke a pack of debt every second. But you know how life could be sometimes. Glad I could catch up in time for the conclusion of TAS Season 1, start of Season 2 with another favorite two-parter of mine.
Good job.
I don't know why I always leaned more toward liking Jaxer and Mala over the Kryptonians in Superman 2. Though I imagine it's partially due to their clothes not looking like black bathrobes. Do Jaxer and Mala's outfits remind anyone else of that animated Buzz Lightyear movie? Not the new one, it's the TV show. Yeah, the Star Command movie or whatever.
Beyond me.
Oh, there you go. Also, when Jaxter said, Mala, crush his skull, I'll bet at least 5% of the audience watching this nowadays said, it should have been me! Only to be disappointed when realizing Mala would only use her hands. I give this episode 4 flying mantis worm things out of 5. Until next time, keep calm and yop on.
Not 4 watermelons out of 5.
No, yeah. This is from Scrudge. So is the Phantom Zone just like hell? They don't really explore it too much, but Jaxter just casually mentions that it's worse than death, apparently. Pretty heavy stuff. I remember in the Man of Steel movie when they put the bad guys in those penis rockets in order to send them to the Phantom Zone. Also, shout out to the film realists from a fellow Ontarian. Okay.
Hey!
Should we start counting Ontarians?
Yes, I'll have a special Ontarians section of the wall. Or
This is from Kale. Kryptonian Preservation Society. Apologies for being away for so long, Jormungandr and Beelzebub. I was in John Day attempting to find kryptonite. Oh, you're right outside our window.
I was going to say, wait a minute.
But all they had
another
were, I guess.
Oregonian? Or?
We'll just keep track of that. Yes. Lousy fossils. I don't know what they have to brag about. Now for the assessment. Size, a baseball. Color, green. Current location, the Phantom Zone. Previously from the bottom of the deep blue sea. Vibe, honey, Mariah Carey. If I had more time, I'm glad I mixed it up. Yeah. If I had more time, I'd be able to write a longer email, but I'm off to Japan where I hope to get a lead on some kryptonite. I will, however, do my best to return to Oregon in time for your big show. I'd hate to miss it. Until next time, Kale, founder, curator, and director of operations of the Kryptonite Preservation Society.
Love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope to see you there. If you're still in Japan, hey, you're in Japan. You can't be mad. Charles Motosierra.
You know what they say.
You're
in Japan, you can't be mad.
No, it's against the law, actually. They'll throw you in this Phantom Zone. Regarding Blast from the Past Part 1, or Space Nazis Never Fail to Be Cool Villains. It's curious that the far gone days of the 1900s were a time when Superman releasing a space Nazi made him look stupid, but that did not apply to a hot lady space Nazi. Let's agree that the top of a sculpture is one of the worst places to leave a soon-to-collapse observation deck full of people.
Mm-hmm.
Evil Banana Baby says Gaga Goo Goo, translation unsatisfactory.
Oh my God.
The Banana Baby, Goo Goo Gaga, translation. My father sat me and my brother Banana Boy down and told us, okay, my children, I know you have wondered where I have been, and I'm sorry for disappearing for so long without an explanation, but I assure you it was for a good reason. As I know you're both aware, your uncle, Evil Banana Man, has somehow found our new home and has threatened to unbalance the positive energy of this comment section. I feared he was too powerful, so I climbed onto the shoulder of the one who yells big whoosh and flies away to train and find my inner peace. I have returned, believing I could hold the balance now, but I could never have anticipated the arrival of your cousin Namananab. Sons, I need your help. We must keep this place or home okay. Jesus Christ.
Okay. Yeah. This is going to turn into its own podcast, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I'll subscribe immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Jungi Fulmer, all I could think of in the taco discussion was Joker's Taco Barge. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know how that didn't come up.
Who knows?
Lanola Cola. Good morning / afternoon / evening, Jam L and Manila.
Good evening.
To season 2 of Tug on the Super Cape. Now we're starting TAS season 2 with a bang, or rather a blast with Blast from the Past Parts 1 and 2, aka Smile, you're in the Phantom Zone. While the idea of other Kryptonians arriving to Earth was previously done in the comics, I was not expecting Superman and Mala to steal Batman's shtick with staking out robberies at night. Nor was I expecting TAS to depict Kryptonian January 6th. Jor-El easily thwarting it. Lex Luthor doing a J. Jonah Jameson impression with his slanderous speech on Kryptonians. And the chunk of kryptonite to disappear and not get mentioned again. Most of all, I didn't expect these episodes to finally name Superman's Wink Cavern as the Fortress of Solitude. Also, Lois's affirmative noise after being freed from Mala's grip in Part 1 sounded like she was a bit into it. We're on the pathway here. That's all for now. I'll return faster than the UN almost surrendering to Jaxter and Mala till we yop again. Batgirl Fangirl.
Hey.
I thought to myself, that Phantom Zone projector sure looks like a snazzy-looking watering can. Next thing I see Professor Hamilton testing it on a potted plant. When they were surrendering the entire planet to Mala and Jaxer, there was actually people still hard at work in the office buildings they crashed through. You'd think that they would get the day off on Surrender Day. When Superman put down that restaurant precariously on those 3 buildings, could you imagine being one of the people inside? We're saved! Anyone got a length of rope? Still, it's now open at a new location, I suppose. The cyclist, it's Mala. Really? No one noticed them walking down the street before the cyclist got knocked on the noggin with his own bicycle. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, maybe it was Halloween. Who knows?
I love this 2-parter. It was so much fun to see the 2 on the bounce. I really can't wait to see the next episode. As you know, I'm watching them for the first time in the air date order, so I've got to wait till next week for more S-tests. I'll be patient. Keen podcast guys. I've never listened to one in a hot tube before. I think you mean hot tub, but I'll take it. We're always in a hot tube, you know. Loved your recent video on Redacted. I learned so much.
Just thinking of there's the whole flat Earth thing. Are there people coming out with Tube Earth now?
Tube Earth. Anywho, 5 stars and 5 watering cans. I mean Phantom Zone projectors. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Metropolis Mayor Franklin Berkowitz says, important public announcement. Dear metropolites, metropolitans, metropolians, I, the mayor of this great city, am glad to announce that the Metropolis Police Department, along with Superman, has captured the terrorists attacking our population and neutralized the threat. Wait, what do you mean they haven't found the bomb? Holy shit, we're all gonna die. Sweet mother of Christ, have mercy. A few hours later. Okay, apparently Superman saved everyone. As I was saying before, this great success demonstrates how my administration has greatly improved our law enforcement. In short, please re-elect me. My constituents. We are up 25 points in Australia TV reviews, so I think that's all those guys on the wall next to you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. From Serum Lake, just wanted to let you know that I'm behind on the podcast. What can I say? I'm a busy boy. But I just learned that you left me off your list of British listeners. Well, everyone needs to just have a sign off of their location or something. How are we supposed to keep track of this shit?
I'm looking for New Hampshireites out there somewhere.
Yeah, come on. Kevin Sanchez, a year behind. Oh, there's a new body. A new body. That is the wrong button, but you know. Hey, J and B.
Hey.
I just started listening to the podcast about a month ago, so I'm not quite caught up to current day. I'm actually a year behind.
You shouldn't be.
Almost exactly a year behind, actually. I just listened to episode 59, Reading My Lips, the ventriloquist debut episode. God, that was a fucking year ago. That does not seem that like.
Let's not.
It was the episode following Kevin Conroy's death. The timing was uncanny, but much needed right now. Yeah, that was the 1-year anniversary of his death. I guess that adds up a few days ago.
Yeah.
I appreciate both of your insight on the matter. He was an icon and a hero to us all. Sent from my iPhone. He was indeed sent from my iPhone. No, he was great. Will be sorely missed, absolutely.
And constantly.
Jessica and I just got to that episode also on a car trip, and we got home the second that you and I go okay, so we're going to talk about Kevin Conroy, and I'm like, fuck, that's the next thing we're going to listen to when we get in the car, god damn it. Whatever. It's fine. Jordan Newman, Gotham Insider Musical Minute. Blast from the past. Never apologize for loving your fandom. Try to stay optimistic. I ran out of time.
Nice.
You're listening to the Gotham Insider, reporting from Metropolis. Tonight's top story, a couple more aliens showed up in Metropolis. There's always a few.
Yes.
And decided to be assholes, including throwing around the mailman, which I've got to say, not cool. We here at the Gotham Insider support our hard-working postal workers. Anyway, apparently these aliens wanted to take over the world. It's always something, either take over the world or steal all our data, or just do an epic Gene Simmons cosplay. These guys look pretty metal. Maybe they were into that. I don't know. Now over to the music. I really liked the kind of flowy, tranquil music at the beginning, and there were some sort of discordant trumpets during the monster fight. I also really liked the triangle player going nuts during the battle against the alien monster at the beginning. Never underestimate triangle solo. And the DIC ray was used when the mailman was falling, truly the most tragic part of the episode.
The perfect moment for it, yeah. Ryan Hipp,
Hey.
The old Batman/new Superman adventures.
The brand new adventures of Batman and Superman today, here on Kids WB.
I'd say the timing couldn't be better.
Yes, we finally made it to the peak of this entire franchise. That's right. Justice League Unlimited can suck it. Return of the Joker, never heard of her. Mask of the Phantasm, okay, that might be the single greatest thing ever made by humans. Forget I've been talking. I know there is some nostalgia involved in me saying that my earliest memories of the DCAU are of the new Batman Superman adventures, but I genuinely think that in terms of storytelling and animation quality and the kind of bonkers shit the network let them get away with, this is it. Especially when we get to the very best episode later on about a Mr. Kent, my personal favorite episode. And what better way to kick off this exciting team up of DC superheroes than with one episode of Superman on a Monday afternoon. But then they follow it up with one episode of Superman on a Tuesday afternoon. They don't do the double headers until the weekend. By the way, if you're playing along at home, they played Batgirl Returns on Wednesday and Deep Freeze on Thursday. You're welcome. As for the episodes themselves, everybody's favorites, Blast from the Past, parts 1 and 2, they're good. Part 1 has Superman trying his damnedest to make Gina Carano a functioning member of society, but of course that's a task not even Superman's capable of doing. And Part 2 is basically a low-rent Superman 2/Man of Steel, but it gets the job done. But you know this is where Kids WB draws the line because they totally would have been able to use General Zod if they were perfectly fine with Superman killing somebody on afternoon television. Okay, I think Nick Freno's calling me back to the water tower, so later, kids!
Thanks.
Amazing.
Yeah, I haven't even, try not to, say things that are about to happen unless I've said them to Brian on the podcast, because now he's sort of getting into the information that, there's going to be a programming block. Superman started airing back-to-back with Batman episodes, but we're not there yet.
Oh.
So, we're getting there. We're getting close.
We're going back to Batman?
Yeah, I wish I could have explained it to you on my own.
Don't worry, I am exhausted and I will certainly forget by
you won't remember it all.
7 p.m.
Lobo Boy Fanboy 420. Hello, Rose and Max, yada yada yada. Lobo Boy Fanboy 420, yada yada yada. This is actually what's written. This episode didn't have enough Lobo, 0 out of 10. We get it. Anyways, long story short, me and my buddy had what we called a Lobo night a few days ago. We got cheap liquor and cheap pizza and watched every episode of Lobo we could find on Brian's dog Max.
Awesome.
But the liquor we choose was Everclear, which we did precisely one shot of before we decided to find some mixers. Yeah. We used 2 shots of Everclear, then equal parts lemon lime soda, pineapple juice, and green Hawaiian punch. I don't remember what the flavor was called. And seeing as how, so just sugar death. Seeing as how we started our Lobo night with the main man part 1, we named this concoction Weasel Spit. Okay. That'd be good. Weasel Spit. And as for my review, it was bad. Horrible even. I woke up in my shed. Man was never meant to consume vibrant green liquids. Don't try this drink ever. If any listeners want to try this drink, don't. If you do, consider just 1 shot of Everclear instead, or better yet, replace the Everclear with vodka, or even better, don't make this. Anywho, thanks for the yops, Lobo smooching and saying I love you too, Blaze it. Sent via the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra 5G and AT&T 5G smartphone.
Jesus Christ.
Kevin Tran. Hey, Jamie T. Kirk and Brock.
Oh, just stop at Jamie T. Thumbs up for that one.
Thanks for sharing the piece I made, you guys. I've got a lot of love from fellow listeners. Not too much to say about this episode, but it's good. By the way, did you guys know it's Superman's 85th anniversary?
He's so old.
He's so old. I feel like DC hasn't been promoting it as much as they would Batman, which is next year. That really bums me out. For the character who started the whole idea of superhero, I wish DC did more. So I took it upon myself to make a series of Superman art. Thanks and have a yoppie day, Kevin. He made a cool Superman drawing that is probably on his Instagram or something. Yeah, up and away. And last first we have Mark Aquino, Blast from the Past, or Daddy, I don't care if he's a giant flying alien weevil. He owns my heart and we marry tomorrow. Marry tomorrow. Jesus Christ.
No, we wary tomorrow.
We wary tomorrow. Narrator, you unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound, a dimension of sight, a dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and of substance, of things and ideas. You've crossed over into the Yoppie zone. I mean, Phantom Zone. So in this episode, Adam Weber is the son of an eccentric inventor who, after the threat of a potential nuclear attack, kept his family locked in a bomb shelter for 35 years. One day, they run out of food and supplies, and Adam ventures out into the world to get some, only to realize that a lot has changed in the world since 1962. He meets a young woman who bears a striking resemblance to a former Batgirl, and she helps him get acclimated to modern society. And hold on, that's not the episode. It's the plot to a Brendan Fraser movie from 1999. Damn it, why do I keep making these kinds of mistakes? Yeah, it's the same title, baby. There was a lot in this that felt just like Superman 2, the Phantom Zone, evil Kryptonians with the same powers as matzo ball soup, and also has a personal grudge against his father, Jor-El, said evil Kryptonians breaking into the Daily Planet and kidnapping Lois, and a big fight on the streets of Metropolis, though I was waiting for Soups to kick Jaxer into a Marlboro truck, or throw him into a Coca-Cola sign. And even in this, they caused less citywide damage than the final battle of Man of Steel. Sorry, Ryan. Also, I imagine Mala awakens certain feelings for many young people watching the show, regardless of what they identify as, and I don't think I need to explain any further. Overall, I really dug this story. It was great to hear the GOAT Ron Perlman again as different character from Clayface, and I liked how Lois was the one...
Ron Perlman's not a goat. He's a human.
He's that guy. He's Clayface. Clayface is a goat. I liked how Lois was the one who fired the beam, sending the two baddies back to the Phantom Zone. Makes up for the fact that she didn't get away from those falling balconies that she could easily have run away from. Oh well. Boss biggest bear hugs to the #1 podcast host in this here multiverse of ours, James Ur, and Bootylicious by Destiny's Child. Like, you always get a much better name.
I'll take it.
Praise our Lord and Savior Dylan Pollock. Keep up the great work on your own podcast. Remember to tell Gab that she rules. And of course, all the awesome sus listeners of this Yoppie community of ours, you're all the absolute best. Don't you ever forget that all this YouTube fame has gotten to Bames and Dryan's heads. Being all swanky and recording podcasts in hot tubs while us normies have to work our behinds off doing whatever each of us is individually doing for a living. Perhaps the Yop Tower is right to criticize them. Nah, he's too busy with his new co-host, who I'm fairly certain is just a disguised evil banana man. Until next week, a big old whoosh, I just flew away. I get to stop talking now, Brian.
Congratulations.
Thank gosh. And now we're back from the future, and I tell Brian the next episode he tries to predict what it's about.
What do you mean tries?
It's called, tries.
No,
it's called
I got this one.
The Prometheon.
Just watch this. What?
I didn't hear what you said.
The Prometheon?
The Prometheon.
It's somebody from another planet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Put yourself out there.
Am I wrong?
Superman.
Am I wrong?
It's hard to say. We don't know if he's from a planet.
Do you want me to say someone
actually,
from
no,
elsewhere?
in this we do, actually. You're right. You changed the origin of this character. So yes, he is from a different planet. You're right.
Thank you.
What happened? What does he do? What's he about?
Tell you what, as a direct result of his actions, there's going to be a hole blown in a building.
Oh, man. Again, what a wild guess for a Superman.
I'm really good at this.
Well, thanks for playing, Brian.
Do you want me to try to put an edge on that?
Whatever. This podcast episode's over, Brian. You can just stop now. Well, thank you, Dan, as always.
You're welcome.
You said you didn't want this to go for 2 hours. It's only gone for an hour and 48 minutes. So we've kept our bargain, part of the bargain.
Pretty much.
Oh, thank you for always being so patient with Dan. Yeah. And thank you for sharing all the cool information.
As always,
just hanging out.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's a fun thing. I love this one. I love this one.
I'd like to hear that.
I'll get a message from you every once in a while being like, what episode are you guys on now? Just interested.
Yeah.
I pretty much always want you to be on. So if there's something coming up that you've got time for and you want to chat about,
I'll try.
It's always a we'll see, you know. Mm-hmm. You never know what's around the corner. The Prometheon.
Exactly.
I know exactly what to expect. Come on.
Punch a hole in the building.
I know. I really just biting my tongue. I was like...
Well, we salute you. You always win the balderarchy in our hearts, and as the evilest bald man in the episode.
Parole revoked. Fortress of Solitude? I mean, it's not exactly lonely up here, though I am the only Kryptonian. Lately, I'm thinking it's better we keep it that way.
We were just talking about is Pretty Woman what did we say?
Oh, My Fair Lady.
Yeah, like we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, essentially, it kind of is. It kind of is.
Never thought of that before, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have Dan Riba on the podcast. To tell us about Pretty Woman.
Dan, the prettiest woman.
Yes.
I believe Hector Elizondo did do a voice for us on something, and I forgot what it was, but I do remember meeting him. And
he's
yeah,
Krager.
he was
Who's
that.
Krager?
What's that?
He's Krager in Starcrossed.
That's right. There you go. Bingo.
I'm like, Brian's like, who's Krager? I can't tell you who Krager is, Brian. Come on.
I'll just wait and find out, shall
Yes,
I?
you will. Jump on the Bat-Wagon is hosted by the Watchtower Database. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for DC Animated Universe videos on a regular basis. This podcast is edited and produced by yours truly, James Strecker. Musical themes by Kimmy, Cooney Phoenix, Viltsu, Eric LeBeau, Jordan Blumen, my mother, and of course, my smooth co-host, Brian, Brother Broderick Meneely. To buy us a Yoppie beverage and hear your name read in a future episode, or to nab yourself a Yoppie Dude t-shirt, please visit the links in today's show notes. Thank you for supporting the show. You can hear more on today's DCAU episode by checking out our friends over on the DCAU Review and Tim Talk podcasts. Please leave us a 5-star review on your app of choice. You'll damn well hear it read on the show. If you'd like to reach out to us like the fire hand at the end of The Cat and the Claw Part 2, you can email batwagonpod@gmail.com or leave a comment on the Podtower. New episodes of Jump on the Bat-Wagon are released Fridays on all your favorite podcast feeds and watchtowerdatabase.com. And we'll see you next episode, same PP time, same poo-poo channel.